I just drove 20 minutes to the beach, whipped out this camera, so excited to record this video, no SD card, drove all the way back home, and now we're headed back to the beach. See you in 20 minutes. How's this for a background? What's up, guys? My name's Amber, and sales made me evil, and we're gonna talk about that today. Sales is basically the ability to persuade someone that you have a solution to solve a problem that they have, and they should invest their money and or time. So when used poorly, you're basically just really good at manipulation. That's why I say sales just tests you ethically like nothing else. If someone came up to you, I'm going to assume you're in sales or looking to be in sales, and if someone comes up to you and says, you are a sleazy slime bag salesperson, and it offends you, if it hurts you, even in the slightest, there's truth to what they're saying, right? It's similar where if someone were to come up to me and be like, I hate your ugly blue hair, like your blue hair is so ugly. I'd be like, okay, what? Are you okay? What's wrong? Like, you can't see properly because I don't even have blue hair. And it's the same thing with our internal being. It's just harder because really only you truly know. So let's rewind to a year ago. If someone came to me and said, you're a sleazy slime bag, I would have got offended. I would have been like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? My ego would have immediately became defensive. Because the truth is, I was a sleazy, slimy salesperson at some point, but not intentfully, not purposefully. I didn't recognize morality within sales because, to be frank, I wasn't taught it. And I absolutely don't blame the people who taught me sales because I learned such amazing things, but they also weren't taught morals in sales. It's really common in the industry to take your morals and ethics and completely separate it from sales and only pursue the method with the best results, the most efficient way. But in my opinion, you have to pursue the most fulfilling way. I'm going to tell you a story that I haven't shared with many people. I'm super ashamed of it. It was back in my door-to-door days. In my door-to-door days, I was known as the reason framing queen because I high rolled for 29 weeks straight because I was very good at selling people at the door by taking their objection and reframing it into the exact reason why they should buy. And I was applauded for it. I was told I was doing great. I was in the Okanagan, BC, one day, and I came across this house, and I will always remember these two. To this day, like, I want to get their address so I can write them an apology letter. John and Mary. Those sound like cliche fake names. It's not. John and Mary, the sweetest old couple that I've ever met in my whole life. I walk onto their property, and they had the coolest Christmas lights that I've ever seen in my life, both on the inside and the outside of their house. It was awesome. And I walked up, and what I would always do, not always, but a lot of the time, I would say, how can I find a reason for why I'm here? Instead of like, hey, I'm here to sell you internet. Because that's what I was doing. I was selling internet, cell phone plans, and security. And I saw in my little iPad thing that they already had internet and cell phones, so I had to sell security. So I walked up and I knocked, and I knocked. They opened the door. And I said, congratulations. You guys have won the Christmas competition for your neighborhood. I'm Amber, I'm here with TELUS. You guys have won the Christmas competition because you already have the internet and cell phone. You actually get our cheapest security, blah, blah, blah. And I closed them. And in my mind, it wasn't that serious. It was a bit of a joke. I thought I was kind of being sarcastic, but I also knew in the moment their interpretation of it was that it was serious, right? To make matters worse, they invited me into the house for dinner. I ate their food, and then I left. I went back to their house the next day, and I wanted to stop by because they were genuinely so nice, so I wanted to just say hello. And I opened the door, and she looked kind of horrified to see me, and I was like, what's up, Mary? And she was like, we called in, there was no Christmas competition. And instead of coming clean right then and there, I choked up, I got scared, and I continued on with my life. I was like, what, really? Really? And I don't even remember what I said, some stupid thing. And then she gave me a home-baked muffin, and I took it, and I left the field after that. I felt so bad. I felt so horrible, and that is the story I'll always remember. Now, I don't want to sell myself short. When I was in door-to-door, I was very good at door-to-door, and there were moments where I genuinely use proper sales method and very good communication, and I would utilize my vocal foundations, my rate of speech, volume, pitch, tonality, and pausing in a way where I became engaging. I was funny, right? I was good at it. But there were certain incidents like this where I blurred the line of morality to get the sale, to get on the leaderboard, but at the time I didn't recognize it. I wasn't able to recognize it because I was constantly given positive reinforcement from all around me. And that's the problem in today's sales industry. It got to a point where, yes, some days like I really just used sales skills, communication, and it was very good. And I learned a lot. Like, I'm very happy for those days. But there were days where I was manipulating because the focus was on me. So if you're asking, I don't want to fall into this, right? Like, how do I make sure that I am exercising ethical sales? It's very simple. You just ask yourself more questions. Whenever you want to change something in your life, you just need two things. You need awareness of the thing that you want to change, and then you need to take action in the opposite way of whatever you're doing. Now, the awareness part is the hardest part. Most of the time when people become aware, not always, but most of the time when people become aware, the change happens shortly after. But the longest period is waiting for the awareness because people don't ask themselves enough questions. So if you're selling, just ask, okay, am I putting the other person first right now? Am I thinking about the commission? Do I care about the problem that they have? Do I even have the solution for them? Would this really even be a good fit? How can I help them see this? Right? And it's all about your internal monologue with the questions that you ask yourself. If we flip it and the question's like, oh, what can I say to them to get them to send me money right now? Oh, how do I piff this? How do I close this on the spot? And it's all around you. That's when ethical sales crumbles. It crumbles, and I'm only sharing this with you not because it's something nice to know. It's because I've lived through the other side. I've lived the unethical sales route, and it sucks. And it sucks so bad the second you step out and you look back and observe what just happened, because in the moment, sometimes you might not be aware, and that's why this is my first video. Because I know my audience, and I'm not saying all of you are evil salespeople, don't get it wrong. And I honestly don't look at the evil salespeople and I don't be like, oh, you're evil, right? That's just how I'm labeling my past self. But I look at them and I go, someone hasn't taught you the right way. I know that you don't feel super fulfilled, or it's coming, right? And I don't have any hatred for them. If anything, I have like sympathy, because I know that even if they feel like they're on a high right now, it will come down and there will be a crash. Dude, this background, oh my gosh, look. That's so good. We are literally living the dream. We are. So we can take spiritual people who are awesome, but it gets to a point where I do think you can be too spiritual, and this could be the horrible wording, a horrible way to word it. However, there are people that explore their consciousness so much to the point that they forget about growth and consistency and doing things that they don't necessarily want to do to get to a certain place with their health, fitness, or money to be able to provide for themselves and the people around them. And they're almost too deep into the spiritual hole. And I've seen it, and they're still beautiful people, and I love them, but you can see the gap and that they might not be living their most fulfilling life. I've also seen on this end where people are so deep into business stuff that, like I mentioned earlier, everything is just about results, money, what's most efficient, where can we like cut this, okay, and everything is about business. Everything is about building and being the best and having the most amount of money. And that also leads to a life that I've witnessed that isn't the most fulfilling. When you're able to take the beautiful parts of both of these worlds, which is growth, and growth actually is, they're both growth. They're growth in different ways though. This is external growth and this is internal growth. If someone can help me word this better, help me. But when you can take these two worlds and combine them into one, that's when I truly think that you can live the most beautiful life ever. Now, even if you're in college or you're not like an entrepreneur or a business person, I'm not saying that you need to get into business to live a fulfilling life. I'm just referring to the entrepreneurial mindset because it is very growth motivated. So you could have a job and be like, how can I get better at my job? How can I improve what I'm doing in my day-to-day life? How can I work my way up quicker? What connections can I make to increase my network that will therefore increase my net worth, because network is your net worth, right? So when I say business, don't take it so verbatim. It's entrepreneurial. That entrepreneurial mindset of full accountability, and I'm gonna better myself. I do think that if you have the ability to, and you're aware of your own potential to make a lot of money through a skill that you've been gifted with, or a skill that you've come to have through repetition and practice, then it's almost selfish to not use that and exercise it to gain monetary value, because then imagine how many people that you could have helped, right? My goal isn't to become filthy rich and like, you guys will never catch me with the supercar. Like, that isn't me. Like, that's not something that I'll ever need. The only argument that I could see for that is like, oh, but you're gonna inspire the youth by having a car. I think I can inspire in different ways, but I guess I understand that perspective a little bit. But there's also just so many people in this world that need help. And there's so many people that you are capable of inspiring, right, and impacting and giving you money. Money is just a tool, that's all it is. Don't have an attachment to money because it's literally fake. It comes and goes in an instant and it's all around and there's an abundance of it. But money is a tool that you can use to provide yourself a fulfilling life and also others. So I know that my goals for other people and the amount that I want to help, the amount that I want to impact requires a certain level of money. And I also know that I have certain skills that allow me to make that amount of money as long as I stay consistent. So I'm going to do that. So if you're watching this and you know that you have potential in yourself to make a lot of money, but you're kind of debating like, oh, maybe you don't want to go down that like money bro road where like everyone's just so obsessed with money. I'm here, okay? I'm here, and like I'm in the same boat. I don't want to go down that road, but at the same time I recognize the importance of it, and I recognize the beauty that money can bring. And that's usually not used in the same sentence. Everyone says money is the root of all evil. No, money's not the root of all evil. When you're given money, it just puts a spotlight on the kind of person that you are. That's it. If you give an evil person money, yeah, they're gonna really show you how evil they can be. But if you give a good person money, they will show you how good they are. And if it all of a sudden turns the good person evil, then they were never good in the first place. My foot is falling asleep. 1 second. Ooh. Much needed quick flow sesh. That was awesome. Don't let sales make you evil. Live a fruitful life. One of the wisest people that I know once told me that to live a fulfilling life, you need this pillar standing. And this pillar is built off of truth and love. And there's 3 extensions on the pillar, which is purpose, service, and community. And if you're missing one of those extensions, the pillar will fall. That is the greatest piece of advice I can forward to someone else, because keeping that at the forefront of my mind has changed everything for me. Everything. Life is about community, service, purpose. Find your community. Find what service you can provide. Find your purpose. And then make sure that every day is led with truth and love. Gosh, it's windy. All right, so long.